Hi there, it's Friday the 14th of August 2020. This is our last day looking at how to think about angels. And so far we've learned that we need to think about angels in a biblical way because the Bible is what contains the truth about angels, not in a they're not make-believe, it's not like fairies or pixies, they are real. We don't think about them in a sentimental kind of way or in a new age spiritual kind of a way, but as the Bible reality which they are. Who or what are angels? They are spiritual beings, created beings by God, spiritual, different from people. They don't have physical bodies, they don't suffer from death or decay. They are same as people in that they have a mind, a will and emotions, but they are different, of course, because they are a different race of beings. And then we looked at what angels do, and of course we saw that angels praise God, they serve God, they carry out God's judgment, they deliver God's messages, they carry out God's answers to prayer, they minister to God's people, and they attend God's people in death. And are all angels good? No. 1/3 of the angels in existence are bad. They are fallen angels. They have fallen Lucifer, who was a created angel, who has become the devil or Satan or Beelzebub, has all kinds of different names, and 1/3 of these angels are fallen. They are the demons or evil spirits at work in the world today, but 2/3 of the angels continue to serve God and carry out his bidding. And so in light of all of that, our final question is, how should we live then in the light of our understanding about angels? Well, there's two things we should do. First of all, we should acknowledge their existence, and secondly, we should ask for their help. First of all, we should acknowledge their existence. 2 Kings chapter 6, reading from verse 15, there's a situation here with an army which is surrounding the city, and God's people are in trouble. And when the servant of the man of God got up and went out early the next morning, the army with horses and chariots had surrounded the city. "O my Lord," he said to Elisha, "what shall we do?" "Don't be afraid," Elisha answered. "Those who are with us are more than those who are with them." And Elisha prayed, "O Lord, open my servant's eyes that he may see." And then the Lord opened the servant's eyes, and he looked and he saw the hills full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. Do you remember in the beginning of Hebrews we read that God makes his servant flames of fire, referring to the angels. So what this servant saw was the angelic host, some of the good angels having been sent by God to fight in this real battle. But they were there as the forces of heaven to fight. So angels are real, they are in existence, and they are doing amazing work in this world today. Let me read you a more contemporary story, again from Billy Graham's book about angels, which I thoroughly recommend. And it's a story from the Battle of Britain, actually. In the early days of World War II, Britain's Air Force saved it from invasion and defeat. In her book, Tell No Man, Adela Rogers St John describes a strange aspect of that air war. Her information comes from a celebration held some months after the war, honouring Air Chief Marshal Lord Hugh Dowding. The King, the Prime Minister and scores of dignitaries were there, and in his remarks the Air Chief Marshal recounted the story of his legendary conflict where his pitifully small complement of men rarely slept and their planes never stopped flying. He told about airmen on a mission who, having been hit, were either incapacitated or dead, and yet their planes kept flying and fighting. In fact, on occasion, pilots in other planes would see a figure still operating the controls. What was the explanation? The Air Chief Marshal said that he believed that angels had actually flown some of the planes whose pilots sat dead in their cockpits. Isn't that incredible to think about that? But angels are real, and they are sent by God, and yes, why would they not do that kind of a thing? Amazing. So we need to first of all acknowledge angels' existence, and secondly ask for their help, especially when it comes to the area of spiritual battles, because there is a spiritual realm, and we do fight many battles in our spiritual realm. We live in this natural world and we think that this is all that there is, but there is a whole lot going on behind us and around us in the spiritual realm. And Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 12 acknowledges this, and it says this: "For our struggle in life, I suppose you could say, is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." As we saw yesterday, Satan and his evil spirit, these fallen angels, are at work in this world, and we are at war with them. But we can overcome them by the blood of the Lamb, Jesus Christ, and by the word of our testimony, and by God's angels who help us. So ask for angels' help in your life. Ask God to send his angels to help you whenever you are facing troubles and struggles of any kind, and he will do so. What an amazing teaching it's been, looking at how to think about angels this week. I hope you've been blessed through it, and I hope it's opened your mind, and we'll start a new teaching again next week. God bless. Bye for now.